I'm 89 years old, and I'm here to tell you something that will change your life if you let it. Everything I held on to for 60 years, every grudge, every resentment, every moment of anger, cost me more than the original hurt ever did. And I'm going to tell you my story because I'm running out of time, and I don't want you to make the mistakes I made. I was born in 1936, right in the middle of the Great Depression. My family was poor, but we had each other. I had a sister, Eleanor, 4 years older than me. She was everything to me. I followed her everywhere. I wanted to be just like her. She was beautiful, confident, strong. She took care of me when my parents were working. She was my guardian angel when I was 30 years old. Something happened that changed everything. It was so small, so insignificant, that I can't even tell you exactly what it was anymore. We had a fight, a stupid argument over something that doesn't matter now. Maybe it was about money she owed me. Maybe it was about a boyfriend. Maybe it was about how she treated my husband. I honestly don't remember, but I remember the anger. I remember the feeling of betrayal. I remember thinking, she doesn't respect me. She doesn't care about me. And instead of talking to her, instead of working it out like sisters should, I decided to punish her with silence. I stopped calling. I stopped visiting. I made her feel unwelcome in my home. My husband thought I was crazy, but I was too proud to back down, too stubborn to make the first move, too angry to see what I was really doing. A month went by with no contact, then 2 months, then a year, then 5 years, then decades. 30 years of silence between two sisters who had once been inseparable. 30 years. And you know what happened during those 30 years? We both got older. Our parents died without seeing their daughters reconcile. Eleanor got married, had children, built a life, and I watched it all from a distance, through brief mentions from other family members, through Christmas cards with no personal message, through the absolute devastation of not knowing my sister's children, not celebrating their milestones, not being part of her life. I told myself the anger was justified. I told myself she owed me an apology first. I told myself I was right and she was wrong. I held on to that anger like it was a prize, like it made me stronger. But the truth was much darker. The anger was eating me alive. It was poison, and I was the only one drinking it. During those 30 years of silence, I developed health problems, chronic stress, high blood pressure. My doctor said, your body is holding on to something. Your stress levels are off the charts. But I didn't connect it to Eleanor. Or at least, I didn't want to admit it. I had a daughter. She grew up watching me stay angry at her aunt for decades. She learned unforgiveness from me. She learned to hold grudges, to cut people off, to punish with silence. I was teaching her that anger was more important than love, that being right was more important than being close. And she followed my example. Now she has strange relationships with people, too. My husband would say to me, why don't you just call her, make peace? But I couldn't. My pride was too big. I had told myself for so long that she was the problem, that she was wrong, that I was the victim. Admitting I needed to forgive her felt like admitting I was weak. But that's the thing about grudges. They never get smaller, they get bigger. The longer you hold on to them, the more power they have over you. I replayed that fight in my mind thousands of times. I imagined conversations where I told her off. I imagined her apologizing profusely. I imagined proving that I was right. But none of that ever happened because I never made the first move. And then, when I was 60 years old, I got a phone call. Eleanor had had a stroke. She was in the hospital. And suddenly, all the time I thought I had, all the time I'd been wasting, came crashing down. I could have lost her, without ever saying I was sorry, without ever reconciling, without ever healing what I had broken. I went to the hospital. I was terrified. I hadn't seen her in 30 years. We were both older now, both changed. I didn't know what to say. I walked into her room and she was lying there in that hospital bed and I fell apart. I cried. I apologized. I said things I should have said decades ago. I told her I was sorry, that I missed her, that I loved her, that the fight didn't matter anymore, that I forgave her, that I asked her to forgive me. And she cried too, and she took my hand, and she said, I've been waiting for you to call for 30 years. I've been waiting to know my sister again. Don't you know how much I've missed you? We reconciled that day. After 30 years of silence, we had 5 more years together after her stroke, 5 years to rebuild what I had destroyed. If we had had 30 years, think about it, 30 years of sisterhood, 30 years of knowing her children, 30 years of shared memories, 30 years of love. After she died, I had the worst regret of my life. Not the regret that comes from missing one event, but the regret that comes from wasting decades. Decades that I can never get back. Decades that she can never get back. And that's when I made a decision. I was going to spend the rest of my life making sure nobody else made my mistakes. I was going to make peace with everyone I had hurt. I was going to forgive everyone who had hurt me, because I finally understood that unforgiveness wasn't punishment for them. It was punishment for me. After Eleanor died, I found old letters in a box. Letters she had written to me years after our fight, when she was trying to reach out. Letters I had never seen. Letters where she said, "I miss my sister. I don't even remember what we fought about. I just miss you. I want to know you again. Please call me." She had been trying to reach out the whole time, and I had been too proud to listen. So I decided no more. No more grudges. No more pride. No more silence. I called my best friend Carol. We hadn't spoken in 15 years. We had a falling out when she said something I perceived as disloyal. I had cut her off completely. No explanation, no conversation, just silence. When I called her, she cried. She said, "I've been so sad without you. I don't even know what happened to us. We made peace." And she became my closest friend again in my final years. We traveled together. We laughed together. We made memories. 15 years of friendship that I almost lost forever. I reached out to my mother. We had never reconciled after a disagreement when I was 35. I had felt that she favored my brother, that she didn't respect my choices. I carried that resentment for 25 years. When I finally called her and said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you," she said, "I've been waiting for you to say that my entire life." We had 5 good years before she passed. 5 years instead of none. 5 years of peace instead of decades of resentment. I made peace with my daughter. I had judged her choices, her husband, her career, her parenting. I had made her feel small and wrong her entire life. I apologized. I told her I was wrong. Your choices are yours to make. I respect you. I love you. And I'm sorry for making you feel judged. She cried, and our relationship transformed. She started opening up to me, sharing her life with me, including me, and in the last 10 years we've become true friends. I even made peace with myself, with the woman I had been, the proud woman, the resentful woman, the woman who chose anger over love. I forgave myself, which might have been the hardest forgiveness of all, and I learned something I wish I had known at 30 years old. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It doesn't hurt them. It destroys you. It poisons your body. It warps your mind. It makes you bitter and small. Forgiveness, real forgiveness, is not for them. It's for you. It's the gift you give yourself. Forgiveness is freedom. Let me tell you the lesson I wish someone had taught me when I was young. First lesson, and this is crucial, unforgiveness costs more than forgiveness. When you hold a grudge, when you stay angry, you are giving that person power over your life. Every moment you spend angry is a moment you don't get back. Every day you spend silent is a day you could have spent loved. The person who hurt you, they've moved on. They're living their life. But you're stuck. You're frozen. You're paying a price every single day. Second lesson, pride is one of the most expensive emotions you can carry. It costs you relationships. It costs you peace. It costs you love. When you're too proud to apologize, when you're too stubborn to reach out, when you insist on being right, you're sacrificing something infinitely more valuable. You're sacrificing people. Third lesson, apologies are not weakness. I thought apologizing meant admitting I was wrong, admitting I was weak. But apologizing is actually the strongest thing you can do. It takes more courage to say, "I'm sorry," than to stay silent forever. It takes more strength to humble yourself than to hold on to pride. Fourth lesson, you don't need the other person to go first. I spent 30 years waiting for Eleanor to apologize to me. But the whole time I was the one who was wrong. I was the one who needed to apologize. I was the one who created the silence. But instead of admitting that, I waited, I made excuses, and I lost 30 years. Don't do that. Don't wait for them to make the first move. You make the first move. You have control over that. Fifth lesson, it might be too late. This is the scary one. This is the scary. The person you need to forgive, they might die before you get the chance. The person you need to apologize to, they might not want to hear from you. The reconciliation you want might not be possible. But that doesn't mean you don't try, because some reconciliation is better than no reconciliation. And sometimes, even if they don't forgive you, you can forgive yourself. You can make peace with what happened. You can let it go. Sixth lesson, teach your children about forgiveness. I taught my daughter unforgiveness. I modeled holding grudges. I showed her that it was okay to cut people off, to stay angry, to punish with silence. Now she struggles with the same things I do. But your children, you can teach them different. You can show them that love is more important than being right, that connection is worth more than pride, that forgiveness is freedom. Seventh lesson, the longer you wait, the scarier it becomes. Every day that passes, the silence gets deeper, the rift gets wider, the possibility of reconciliation seems more impossible. But the truth is, it's never impossible. It's just harder. So don't wait. Don't tell yourself you'll reach out tomorrow. Tomorrow might not come, for you or for them. If I could go back and speak to myself at 30 years old, the moment before that fight with Eleanor, here's what I would say. You're about to have a fight with your sister. It's going to hurt. You're going to feel betrayed. Your pride is going to tell you to stay silent. Your anger is going to tell you to punish her. But I'm begging you, don't do it. Don't spend 30 years angry. Don't lose 30 years of sisterhood. That fight, it's going to become irrelevant. You won't even remember what it was about. But the silence will haunt you forever. Call her, apologize, work it out. Because life is too short for unforgiveness. Because the people you love are fragile and mortal. Because you're going to regret it so deeply that it will change who you are. And yes, sometimes people won't forgive you. Sometimes relationships can't be repaired. Sometimes you reach out and they reject you. That happens. But at least you tried. At least you made peace with yourself. At least you didn't spend decades in silence wondering what could have been. To all of you listening to this, I want you to think about your own unforgiveness. Who do you need to forgive? Who do you need to apologize to? What grudges are you holding on to? What silence are you maintaining? Make a list right now. Think about, who have you cut off without explanation? Who have you been angry at for years? Who have you judged without trying to understand? Who have you distanced yourself from? Who did you promise to call and never did? Who have you been waiting for to apologize first? What relationships have you let wither? And then pick one person, the one you regret most, the one whose loss would devastate you, and reach out to them today, not tomorrow, today. Send them a message, make a call, write a letter, say, I've been thinking about you, I miss you, I want to make peace. Some of them will respond with joy, some will respond with hesitation, some might not respond at all. But that's not your concern. Your concern is doing your part. Your concern is letting go of the resentment. Your concern is offering forgiveness and asking for forgiveness. Because at 89 years old, with limited time left, I can tell you the most important thing I've learned. The people you love are everything, everything, not the money you make, not the achievements you rack up, not the wrongs you've been right about. The people, the relationships, the love, and unforgiveness destroys those things. It poisons them. It kills them slowly. Forgiveness is the cure. Forgiveness is the medicine. Forgiveness is how you heal. I wasted 30 years being angry at my sister. 30 years. 30 years I can never get back. Don't do that. Don't waste even one more day. If you need to forgive someone, do it now. If you need to apologize, do it now. If you need to reconcile, do it now. Because time is running out faster than you think. For all of us, for me especially. I'm 89 years old. I've lived a long life. And the moments I treasure most, the moments that matter, are not the moments I was right. They're the moments I was loved. They're the moments I was connected. They're the moments I forgave and was forgiven. Make those moments your priority. Make those connections your mission. Make forgiveness your legacy. And if you've watched this, if this has touched something in you, I'm asking you to do 3 things. First, reach out to someone today. Call them. Message them. Tell them you miss them. Tell them you want to make peace. Second, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone you know is holding a grudge. Someone you know is angry. Someone you know is letting a relationship wither. Share this. Maybe it will give them permission to forgive. Maybe it will save them from 30 years of regret. Third, subscribe to this channel because there are more stories like this coming. Stories from people like me, people who have lived long lives and learned hard lessons. People who want to save you from the mistakes we made, stories that could change your life if you let them. If you're in your 20s or 30s, listen to these stories and learn. Don't wait until you're 89 to figure this out. Don't wait until people die before you reach out. Don't wait until it's too late. Live now, love now, forgive now. If you're in your 50s or 60s, it's not too late. I reconciled with my sister at 60. I made peace with my best friend at 75. It's never too late. Pick up the phone, write that letter, make that call. If you're in your 70s or 80s, you know what I'm talking about. You know the weight of regret. You know the pain of unforgiveness. It's never too late to let it go. Never. The clock is ticking for all of us. I don't know how much time I have left. Could be a year, could be a day, but the time I have left, I'm going to spend it surrounded by people I love, people I've forgiven, people who have forgiven me, people I'm connected to. Don't wait until you're 89 to figure this out. Don't wait until it's almost too late. Forgive now, love now, connect now. That's my message. That's my story. That's what I've learned from 89 years of living. Thank you for listening. I hope this changes your life. I hope this saves you from even one day of unnecessary regret. I hope you call someone today and say, I'm sorry. I love you. I miss you. I forgive you. That's the greatest gift you can give yourself. That's the greatest gift you can give the people you love. Forgiveness, freedom, love, connection. That's what matters. That's all that matters, always.